Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope that everyone had a pleasant weekend. Say hello to everybody here. Mel, Pippa Dot, Gemma. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ready? Ready or not, trivia's coming. Cement Shoes. Good evening, Cement Shoes. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a pleasant weekend. Kevin Brand, all the way from South Carolina. Good evening, Kevin. Sal, good evening. Sal is here with us as well, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be here. I'm glad you could be here as well. I hope you had a great weekend, Sal. Callie Lisa, you as well. I hope you had a great weekend. Did I miss Interpeas already? How did she sneak in when I wasn't looking? Hello, Karen. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Kitty Coo, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. And Sprinkle Donut, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. All the questions tonight on trivia, half of the questions are on the Green River Killer, the murders themselves. The other half of them are on Gary Ridgway. So and they're not just like 10 and then 10, but they're mixed in with them. So it's about 50-50. But the Green River Killer and Gary Ridgway is tonight's trivia subject. And I hope you studied up on the right Green River Killer. Give it a couple more minutes for people to roll in, and then we'll get the trivia going. Callie Lisa, I had a great weekend, except for the heat. Not a big fan of the heat, but we're underneath a heat, warning right now where I live. It gets that way every year. Nobody lives around here without AC. You have to have air conditioning. I would really truly feel sorry for anybody who doesn't have it in this area. In case I didn't say hello, Interpeas, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. All right, let's get this trivia going. This is the 318th episode of Trivia Night here on 411 Now. 318th episode. Do a little bit of business here. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Some of the content covered and seen on this stream may not be suitable for all ages or audiences. I have restricted the access to this on YouTube, the place that I'm mainly streaming to 16 years of age plus. Anyone who is not 16 years of age and is watching this content is either lied when they set up their YouTube account or they're using someone else's, and neither one of those is my fault if they watch this content. In accordance with U.S. and state laws under RCW 26.28.080, and that law only applies to people who stream from my state. I am been aware, and I have addressed that in an upcoming video that yes, I am aware that 26.28.080 does not apply to everyone in every state, but it does to me, so I have to say it. It is a crime to disseminate or this content or access this content if you're under the age of 16. I must again give everyone that warning. Question number 1 is now on your screen. Let me get myself my little window. Hello, Will in its little window. All right, question number 1 of 20. The first time the police questioned Gary about the disappearance of a prostitute, he told them what? And they believed him. Was it A, he was at work? B, he didn't know her? C, he was out of town? Or D, he was in jail? The first time the police questioned Gary about the disappearance of a prostitute, he told them what? And they believed him. I did. I had a great weekend. Scrolling down. And I'm sorry if I missed it. Gianna Marie. Good evening, Gianna Marie, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm sorry. I was going to say, I hope I didn't miss anybody while I was reading all that off. And I truly am sorry about that. I was not ignoring anyone. Sherry. Good evening, Sherry. It's letting me chat tonight. Oh, I guess that's a good thing, Sherry. I didn't know you had an issue with being able to chat before. If you ever have a problem where you think that you may have been blocked or you're having an issue, it's not letting you chat, it's not showing up, please shoot me an email at the following email address. I'm going to put it in the chat here. Again, if you ever have an issue where your chat's not showing up, you're not showing up in the chat or whatever it may be, maybe there's a technical issue that is appearing on your end, or maybe it's on my end too, and I just don't see it. But if you see anything, shoot me an email. Let me know. 411now business, all one word, at gmail.com. The first time the police questioned Gary about the disappearance of a prostitute, he told them what, and they believed him. What is the correct answer for this one? He was a celebrity cast member in the movie Pretty Women. Pretty Woman. Don't think he was as good looking as Richard Gere back in the day. All right, the answer to question number 1 is B as in boy. He didn't know her, never seen her, and have never had any communication with her. He didn't know her. Her name was Maria Malva. Malva, Maria Malva. When Maria Malva was picked up by the John that fateful day, she was seen through the window by her boyfriend, also her pimp, getting into an argument with the person who was driving the truck. And as he ran to find out what the hell was going on and to stop the any kind of assault that was about to take place in the truck between the John and his girlfriend, the prostitute, the truck sped off. He got into his car, took flight after them, chased them around the area, but lost them after at a red light. And well, a couple of days later, they ended up finding Maria Malva deceased. But when the police came and questioned Gary Ridgway about this vehicle was seen picking up this prostitute, the boyfriend chased this truck, and he's like, no, he didn't. Nope, know her, never seen her, never had anything to do with her. But the police believed him because he was an upstanding member of society. He had a job, and he didn't seem out of place. Didn't even seem like the typical person who would have be going to a prostitute because he had a family. I'm not joking, but that was actual what they wrote down in the police report. He didn't fit the description, nor did he fit the the MO of somebody who would be visiting prostitutes. But we all know now that he was. All right, question number 2. Once a criminal, always a criminal. At what age did Gary lure and violently stab a child just to see what it was like? Was it A, at the age of 10, B, 12, C, 9, or D, 16? He was polishing Chad Daybell's shoes. In the sequel, Pretty Ugly Women. Once a criminal, always a criminal. At what age did Gary lure a child away and stab that child just to see what it was like? Question number 2 of 20. We got some D's, some B's. Inner peace. The age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. Aquarius. I can't sing. Age of Aquarius. That's good. It's good, inner peace. All right. Question number 2. The answer to question number 2 is D as in dog. At the age of 16, he lured away a 6-year-old little boy to a wooded area and stabbed him just because he wanted to see what it was like. At 16 years of age. Question number 3. Oh, don't look at that one. Don't look at that one. Question number 3. The FBI had a very hard time catching the Green River Killer. They turned to who for help? Was it A, Ed Kemper, B, Ted Bundy, C, Lane Staley, or D, Barry Morphew? Question number 3 of 20. The FBI had a very hard time catching the Green River Killer. They turned to who for help? TQ is going with B, Eddie. Smoke them if you got them. We got B, 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 E, the Little River Band. Good evening, Purple. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope that you had a pleasant weekend. Thank you for joining us tonight for trivia. We are currently on question number 3 of 20. Sprinkled donuts. He is a mountain lion. The Little River Band. I got the Little River Band. At least 1 or 2 of their LPs in here. I'm not exactly sure which one's off the top of my head though, but I know they're in my collection. The FBI had a very hard time catching the Green River Killer, so they turned to who for help? The correct answer to question number 3 is none other than B, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy. They went and talked to Ted Bundy about what the Green River Killer's MO might be. What was he like? What insight could he add to who the Green River Killer was? Next one is, did you know Bruce Springsteen's landmark album from 1982 tells the first-hand account of a serial killer terrorizing the community in 1958 on the song Nebraska. The song recounts the crimes of Charles Starkweather. Bruce Springsteen's landmark album from 1982 tells the first-hand account of a serial killer terrorizing the community in 1958 on the song Nebraska. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the album may also be called Nebraska. But I know that it's definitely the song, but I could be wrong on the name of the album. But I think Bruce Springsteen's album was called Nebraska as well. It's called Lady. Question number 4. What was the one thing that the Green River Killer always left with each of the victims that the FBI didn't actually know, yet Ted Bundy knew would be there? Oh, I'm sorry, Purple. I hope you heal up quickly. What was the one thing that the FBI didn't know would be there, but yet Ted Bundy knew would be there? Was it A, red lipstick, B, a hairbrush, C, a toothpick, or D, a gum wrapper? What was the one thing that the Green River Killer always left with each victim that the FBI didn't actually know, yet Ted Bundy knew would be there? Bunny slippers. That's bunny cement shoes. Little fuzzy bunny slippers. Kitty Q's like, B, question mark? Mountain Lion for Will. Thumbs up. Mountain Lion, thumbs up for Will. Thank you. Don't forget, if you enjoyed, trivia night, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't have fun here and you didn't enjoy the conversation and the trivia, please give it a thumbs down by all means. Question number 4 of 20. The correct answer is A as in apple, red lipstick. As one of the clues that Ted Bundy gave them was there will be lipstick somewhere nearby, either on the body or will be with the victim. Look for red lipstick. And the FBI didn't even put together the fact that each and every one of the victims that they had found at that point had red lipstick on. Question number 5. I love each of them, but I was repulsed by what I'd seen them do for money. Where did Gary Leon Ridgway say this? Was it A, in an interview with Fox 13 Seattle, B, in a letter to a fan, C, in a courtroom on trial, or D, on CCTV call with a fan? Donna, I thought it was lipstick, but was sure he brushed her hair. He did a lot of things we're going to learn about tonight, Pippadot, besides, going back to the victims over and over again. I loved each of them, but I was repulsed by what I'd seen them do for money. Where did Gary Leon Ridgway say that? Question number 5. Being interviewed by Julie Rowe. All right, question number 5. The correct answer is C as in cat. In the courtroom, while on trial, he did not say it as testimony from the stand. He uttered it out by sitting next to his attorney. But other people who were there in the courtroom heard him say it. He said it loud enough, not like in a whisper, like in a private, confidential, communication between him and his attorney. But he said it in the courtroom while on trial for the murder. He turned to his attorney and he said, "I love them all, but I was repulsed by what they did for money." C as in cat. Question number 6. Law enforcement had an idea but weren't sure. The Green River killer scouted out the area where the bodies were dumped. How long did Gary scout out the area before using it? Was it A, 6 days, B, 7 days, C, 2 days, or D, never did, just got lucky? Interpedes on the Chad Daybell podcast. Sprinkle donut. I was going to say C. Sometimes I even do that myself. I second guess myself. I'm like, I think it's this one, but maybe it's this one. I do the same thing, Sprinkle Donut. His attorney probably wished he had gone to med school. Sal's going with D. Kirikou, D. Pippadot, C. Gemma, B. And Cement Shoes is going with 144,000 days. Question number 6 of 20. How long did Gary Ridgway scout out the areas before using it to dump the bodies of his victims? It was quite a while, right? Question number 6 of 20. The correct answer is C as in cat. 2 days. He would find an area on either his commute to and from work or on the weekends when he would just go for a drive. And then he would mark it down on a calendar by circling it on a map. And then he would go back to that area to scout it out, to see, just watch the area to see if there's any traffic, did people come kayaking in that area a lot, were there a lot of fishermen, whatever it might have been, where he was going to use as his next place to dump a body. For 2 days, he would watch it. Then he'd go find his victim and then dispatch them and bring them back to that area. Nomination for trivia, Markeith Lloyd. Markeith Lloyd. Right now, tell you the truth, Cement Shoes, I do not know who Markeith Lloyd is. It's not ringing a bell with me, but I'm sure I probably know the case. All right. Did you know Ted Bundy, the American serial killer, has been referenced in many TV shows, comedies, and even in songs? The highest charting song he was ever referenced, Ted Bundy, was the rap song by Detroit rapper Eminem called Stay Wide Awake, which charted at number 4 in America in 2009. Will, was it him or was it Dennis Rader actually took their child out with them committing their crimes? That would have to be Rader if either one of them. I'm not familiar with either one of them, that ever taken a child. I'm almost certain Ridgway didn't. But anyways, Ted Bundy, referenced in plenty of comedies and songs and movies, but the highest charting song, it was by Detroit rapper Eminem, on the song Stay Wide Awake, which charted at number 4 in 2009. Question number 7. From a young age of only 4 or 5, Gary Ridgway's father used to tell him stories about his day-to-day work. What did all the stories center around? Was it A, mob bosses, B, killings he witnessed in Vietnam, C, prostitutes, or D, how to torture people? From a young age of only 4 or 5, Gary Ridgway's father used to tell him stories about his day-to-day work. What did all the stories center around? Yeah, I'm not sure about it either, Cement Shoes. Might be another one. Cop killer from Florida who also shot his fiance. That's Markeith Lloyd. Cop killer. Well, killer cop. I'll write down killer cop next to it. Killer cop, Florida. Thank you, Cement Shoes. Appreciate the suggestion. Ridgway did take his son one time, left him in the truck while raping and murdering the woman. Probably. I'm just not familiar with it, Sal. I'm not saying that, I know that there are other serial killers who have taken their children to scout for victims. It's a good ruse. Hey, look, I'm a harmless individual. I have a child with me. I'm just a father. I wouldn't be surprised, though. And Rader, he had he used the ruse of, good Christian family man, volunteered at his church. I wouldn't be surprised if, at some point, he was out scouting, for victims and he had his daughter with him. Wouldn't doubt that at all. Just not ringing a bell with me today. All right, from a young age of only 4 or 5, Gary Ridgway's father used to tell him stories about his day-to-day work. What did all the stories center around? Every single one of them centered around C, as in cat, prostitutes. Always about the, prostitutes, these whores on the street, as he always referred to them, these whores. He started telling his son stories about the whores that he encountered every day at work from the age of 4 or 5. That's got to do something to your psyche because, we know what Gary did later on in life. Question number 8. Laid out always facing the ocean with their hands, their hair combed, fresh makeup applied. What was another trait every victim was found to have? Was it A, a handful of dirt in their mouth, B, a wrinkled shirt or blouse, C, a mountain lion paw print on their neck, or D, sexually assaulted after death? Good evening, Cameron. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great weekend. Pre-dunked in milk. BTK's daughter said he never took one of his kids with him. Yeah, maybe they were younger and they just didn't know. I think when it comes to serial killers, I think it'd be very hard for them just to be able to turn it on and off. The urges to kill, the urges to hunt. I mean, from the psychological standpoint, yeah, maybe he never did take them. Maybe he was able to make that disconnect, turn it on, turn it off. The original KFC recipe. Question number 8 of 20. Ooh, we got D. We got a lot of D's. Question number 8 of 20. Tippett is going with D as well. Laid out, always facing the ocean with their hair combed, fresh makeup applied. What was another trait every victim was found to have? The correct answer to question number 8 is D, as in dog. Every one of the victims was sexually assaulted after death. Yes, he was a necrophile. Necrophilia. BTK didn't stop killing for a while. He did stop. Yeah, he took off it was a large period of time there. I want to say it was like, double digit years in between, like, when he stopped killing, when he started killing again. But you're right, Cameron. He Jolly Rancher lipstick. But so what did Ted Bundy tell them, the FBI, in his profile of what the Green River Killer was like? He not only did he tell him what type of job he was going to have, and he damn near nailed it exactly to the core of what kind of job he was going to have. He told him that the perpetrator was coming back to the victim over and over again. So this entire profile, that Ted Bundy gave was a profile of Ted Bundy. He gave them his profile because it matched what he was told by the FBI. Ted Bundy looked at it and said, "This sounds like me. This sounds like what I would do, and this is what I wish I would have done." But he gave him a profile of what type of victims, when he was going to be hunting for him, what kind of job he would have, how often he would come back, and to the victim, how he was going to position the body, what was going to be found near the body, and lastly, what to do when they found the next body. And that's what Ted, basically wrote right out like a step-by-step plan. It's like, you find a victim, do not do this, do not do this. You'll never catch them unless you do these things. And they did, and it worked. All right, next one, question number 9. Each of the victims of the Green River Killer all fit into 2 different groups. Prostitutes or what? Was it A, runaways, B, 16 to 36 years of age, or C, transgender, or D, drug addicts over the age of 30? Old Ted was a mountain lion killer, mountain lion of killer information. He was. Where his serial killer's glasses? Where's his serial killer glasses? This actual piece of artwork that you see here of Gary Ridgway is from the book Serial Killer Calendars. It does not, I do not remember the artist, otherwise I would give them credit, and I will definitely do that later on. Assistant pickleball coach. Amway saleswoman. They're breathing. They're all breathing. They're the prostitutes, so they're breathing. Each of the victims of the Green River Killer all fit into 2 groups. Prostitutes or what? Question number 9. Oh, he liked Amway. All right, question number 9. The correct answer is B, as in boy. They were either prostitutes or they were 16 to 36 years of age. And they may have worked and had a job, had an apartment, They may have, just been like on the outskirts of, society. Maybe they were, living a risky lifestyle, but he didn't just go after just prostitutes. A vast majority of them were prostitutes, but they fit into two groups, either prostitutes or not prostitutes, and those who were not prostitutes were between the ages of 16 and 36. B as in boy. Ridgway loved killing those whom he considered throwaways. Absolutely. Those that he believed that society would not ever miss. Question number 10. What type of vehicle were the police looking for when they finally arrested Gary Leon Ridgway? Was it A, Chevy van down by the river? B, a green four-door sedan? C, a dark-colored pickup? Or D, a Yugo with a white driver's door? What type of vehicle were the police looking for when they finally arrested Gary Leon Ridgway? A sled pulled by the Budweiser Clydesdale horses. An ice cream truck, said them in. A tricycle. Ooh, we got a lot of C's. Kitty Coo going with C question mark, so is Mel. C question mark, baby. Question number 10 of 20. All right, the correct answer to question number 10 is C as in cat. Now, we're going to take our normal break here in a minute, but I want to go back to number 9 just for a second because I want to touch on something that has been a pet peeve of mine since the day one that I've been studying serial killers. This is just a pet peeve. It's not meant to be mean or hurtful to anyone, okay? So I'm going to go back to number 9 here. You'll notice that over on the right where you see the picture of Gary Ridgway, they have his name spelled Ridgeway. You probably can't see the Y because of me. I'm right here. But it's right here. There is no E in Ridgway. It is Ridgway. No E in Ridgway. It's always been a pet peeve of mine. And I see so many people online who reportedly say that they know or they have information or they did a report or something or they did a peer review article on Gary Ridgway or they include him in a peer review for about serial killers and they spell his name wrong. They add that damn E in there. There's no E in Ridgway in the spelling of his last name. All right. So like I said, we are now on our break for the next 6 minutes. Take a break, relax, do what you need to do for the next 6 minutes. Just make sure you watch out for Snooki and mountain lions. They're both sneaky and they're both dangerous. You don't want to end up in a situation like the situation that I've done. Good evening, Heather. Welcome to tonight's trivia. That's as bad as Fred Bundy, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things of when I see like a peer review article, or somebody who is reportedly, I mean, 9 times out of 10, they are the actual person. They have the actual the degree, they have the experience. Maybe they're a psychologist, or they spent their entire life in that field. It's a simple spelling error, but every time I see it, it just irks me. And it's the same way with Kemper. I've seen his last names misspelled so many times, where they write it down instead of Edward, they write Edwin, or they write Kemper and they add an extra M, and it's just like, really, come on, spell their names right. I give them at least that much respect. Both will give you a cat scratch fever. Ted Nugent, cat scratch fever. Put my BLT together for supper. Ooh, yummy. They put an N in Kemper, Kempner. I've seen that too. But I've seen the KEMM, the double M, or they instead of Edward, they've Edwin, or they instead of just them, like, really, you can just call him Ed Kemper. Everybody knows he's Ed Kemper. The gentle giant, or whatever. Call him by that. It's just me. Edmund. Yes. Now his name is Edmund. But I see either Edward or Edwin, or the misspelling. It's just me. I know it's just me. It probably doesn't bother anybody else, but I see it and I'm like, come on, spell it right. We all have spell checker, don't we? I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not at fault for misspelling words. I mean, if you've ever been here for a trivia night before, you'll see quite a few, grammar errors. And a lot of that is because when I put these together, I'm using speak to text. So it's actually, I just say that I read out the actual question and it fills in the box. But and that's me. It's all on me. I can correct that. Sal loves BLT. You're making Sal hungry. BTK ate BLTs. I almost ate a BLT tonight. Only reason I didn't was dental work the other day. Well, I'm glad you finally got that dental work, Pippadon. I saw you say earlier before the stream started that you just got the dental work done, that you've been putting off for a while. My maiden name is Lightful, and people either say little or spell it little. But I've never had a lot of people misspell my name, mispronounce it. I mean, my last name is Finley, and we always used to meet people who'd say finally. It's like, no, it's not finally, it's Finley. What one of the This is just my choice. You may like it or not. You may not even be able to find it in your area. But there's a company from Pendleton, Oregon, called Hills, Hills, Hills Meats. They make a thick cut smoked, double smoked bacon. Oh man, it is so good on to make a BLT sandwich with. Mm. And then we use Hawaiian bread, either the rolls or the actual sliced bread. That's Hawaiian bread. They toast that up. Fresh tomatoes from the garden. Mm. You ain't hungry now. You should be. Love BLTs with avocado. I'm not much of a fan of avocado. When I cook bacon, I could 4 pounds. We have 1 pound to eat while cooking it, and bacon sandwiches and BLTs for 2 days. There you go. Well, that sounds like a great combination. Corn on the cob and cantaloupe. If you like cantaloupe. I'm not much of a cantaloupe. I'm more of like a honeydew. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Question number 11. During the court hearing and trial, Gary found a lot of it boring because they wouldn't allow him to blank, fill in the blank. Was it A, sleep much the day prior? B, pleasure himself in court? C, see the photos of the victims? Or D, take the witness stand? Question number 11 of 20. During the court hearing and trial, Gary found a lot of it boring because they wouldn't allow him to what? The salt from the bacon goes well with the right cantaloupe. I bet it's got that sweet and saltiness. That'd be awesome. No one has ever gotten my name right. Tipadot? Have I been mispronouncing it all this time? Read Tulsi? C, C, D, C, 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 C. Dana Hark. Good evening, Dana, and welcome to Trivia Night. We are currently on question number 11 of 20. Thank you for joining us tonight. Debbie Jares. Is it Jares? Debbie Jares? My daughter gave me sun-sweet cherry tomatoes. They are very orange and sweet. Ooh. I have one plant in my garden, cherry. It's called the Super 100. It's a cherry tomato, but they grow in a cluster like grapes. So each cluster has like 25, 30, tomatoes on it. They get to about the size of a dime. They're they're not a cherry tomato, but they're like a crossbred, hybrid, I guess we call it. Well, I'm glad you could be here, Dana. My name growing up was Diekman. It was never pronounced correctly. I was always called Dickman. Diekman. I actually knew somebody with a name close to that. Since passed away, unfortunately, about 8 years ago. All right, question number 11. The correct answer is A as in apple. Sleep much prior, the day prior. Gary Ridgway complained to the court and to his attorney in this court, and they're busted. His attorneys complained to the court that they were making noise at night in the jail to psychologically torture him so he wouldn't get sleep, so he wouldn't be prepared for court to aid in his own defense. They moved him to another secured cell during his trial, and he still complained about it. They then interviewed the trustees and 2 or 3 of the jailers, and they found that he was just making it up, and whatever noise he was hearing, it was not intentional. But he complained during the trial himself and through his attorney that they were making noise to psychologically torture him. But now he gets plenty of quietness, 23 hours a day in his cell. He can live in his own little quiet world. Did you know? In 2008, the FBI released a handbook titled Serial Killers that went on to have over 9 million copies sold and printed. The handbook was the result of a gathering of experts in the field of history of serial killers in America. Sadly, this handbook has been out of print since 2012. An original copy sells for over $200 to $300 on Alvarez and on abebooks.com as of July of 2024. Originally, this handbook that was printed by the FBI was given out to all the attendees of the conference for free. It wasn't until well after the conference was over with, I think it was almost a year and a half later, when a lot of other psychologists, and those who study, or and presumably also those in the who are true crime buffs, wanted to get a copy for themselves. I do not have one, and nor do I have $200 to $300 to lay down for this book that the FBI. It's a handbook, and it's not even like bound like a regular book. It has like a metal ring at the top, that you would put through like a hole punch of all the pages, and then you flip it. That's the only thing that binds it all together. Otherwise, you would just stuff it in a folder. But the last place I found when it was available was in July of 2024, going for $200 to $300 online. Maybe they'll print it again. Maybe they won't. All right, next question. Question number 12. So you say you're a fan of the work of Gary Leon Ridgway. Sickening, but okay. What does Gary make everyone do to be able to write to him? Is it A, give him money? B, be referred by another killer? C, know about flowers? Or D, fill out an application? So you say you're a fan of the work of Gary Leon Ridgway. Sickening, but okay. What does Gary make everyone do to be able to write to him? Where at, Will? Where's the book available? Alvarez.com and Abe Books. Was the last time I saw one for sale in July of 2024. Anyway, Kitty Kid going with D? Question mark. Got Lisa A, Dana A, and Pippadot are both going with D as well. I used to do a lot of business on Alvarez and on Abe Books when I had my bookstore. That was about, I'd say a good 35% of my business online besides Amazon. I was what Amazon called a third-party fulfillment seller. Gianna Marie is going with A. Sal is going with D as well. Set up a Grinder account. No, thank you. But Leon Ridgway, make them sign up for a Grinder account. Will, email me the info on the book, please. I'd have to find it again, Kitty Coo, but I can try after this. Sing Danny Boy to him over the phone. He wants to torture him. Oh, Danny Boy. That's funny. Question number 12 of 20. Sherry's going with D as well. So you say you're a fan of Gary Leon Ridgway. Stickity, but okay. What does Gary make everyone do to be able to write to him? The correct answer to question number 12 is D as in dog. You must fill out an application in order to write to Gary Leon Ridgway. You write him a letter. He will then send you back a postcard that says, I need you to fill out an application like you're applying for a job. He wants to know about your background, your history, and what you want to talk about. He refuses to talk about his actual crimes. He will talk about everything else under the damn sun except for his crimes themselves. But yet, from what I understand from where he's at, the prison, and the jail where was before when he was on trial, he's a very popular individual, and a lot of people do write to him. All right. Question number 13. Dumped in a rural area with several odd things left behind, clearly meant to throw off law enforcement. Like which item? Was it A, haircut from a barbershop, B, a gum wrapper, C, different boot prints, or D, cash register receipts? Yeah, people do. He's not the only one, though. He's not the only one that's ever had that made people fill out an application to be able to communicate with them. Dumped in a rural area with several odd things left behind, clearly meant to throw off law enforcement. Like which item? We got B for Q and Kalisa B. C. Sal's going with D. Authentic Haitian voodoo doll. An authentic I'll put a spell on you because you're mine. Put a spell on you. Kitty go, I'm going with D. Sorry. Cash register receipts. Question number 13 of 20. Jersey Shore DVD. Kitty kid, it was gum, not gum wrappers. He left behind his tattoo kid. Excuse me. All right, question number 13. The correct answer is D, as in dog. Cash register receipts. As part of a countermeasure of things that Gary Leon Ridgway did to throw off law enforcement, he would find cash register receipts from different stores and in the garbage cans near stores or at bus stops or at his work. Whatever he could find them, he found them, and then he would dump them near the bodies. But cash register receipts. He did other countermeasures as well to throw off law enforcement. Question number 14. What was the very first thing Gary Ridgway did after he killed each and every victim? Was it A, go home and shower? B, go home and pleasure himself? C, go home and change his tires? Or D, go home and eat a big dinner? What was the very first thing Gary Ridgway did after killing each and every victim? No, I haven't seen right card either. Probably busy. That'd be my guess. Hopefully he'll be back for the next one, which is actually next trivia night is not until the 25th, because I will be out of town the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. I will be out of town in less than 4 days. I'm not getting on an airplane like John Denver would say. I'm not leaving on an airplane, but I'm definitely getting out of Dodge. Committed obscene phone calls to his favorite Catholic church. Is your refrigerator running? Well, you better go catch it. That's the only phone prank that I can remember off the top of my head. When I was younger, me and my friend, Brett, we used to, we were bored, teenage boys sitting around, and we would just get out a piece of paper and we would make up phone numbers and just dial them and see if anybody ever answered them. All hours of the night, didn't matter. It could be like midnight where we were, and 3 o'clock in the morning wherever we got. We didn't care. We would just call, make up numbers. We actually got a gas station once in like Texas or someplace. And the guy threatened to come over and kick our asses. So we kept on calling him back every day. I know it's dumb, but we did it. Listen to Prince when he dove cry, when doves cry. All right, question number 14. The correct answer is C as in cat. C as in cat. One of the other countermeasures that he used to throw off law enforcement was he constantly changed the tires on his truck. It would change them from the front to the back, left to the right, take them off, put them on. But every time after every single murder, he figured that they were going to be able to track the tire tread patterns from his truck. So after every murder, he dumped a victim someplace, he always changed the tires on his truck. One of the other countermeasures that he did. Did you know the actor Michael C. Hall, who famously played the character Dexter on the very popular TV show on Showtime, Dexter was the name of the show, received over 100 letters from a serial killer who took a lot of issue with how the show and Mr. Hall portrayed serial killers. Those letters Mr. Hall received were from Delmas Colvin, the truck stop mangler, who was an active serial killer from 1987 through 2005. The actor Michael C. Hall, who famously played the character Dexter on the extremely popular TV show on Showtime, Dexter, received over 100 letters from a serial killer who took a lot of issue with how the show and Mr. Hall portrayed serial killers. Your son's name is Michael Cody Hall, no relation? That coincidence there, isn't it? Huh. All right, question number 15. Police knew the Green River Killer was out hunting for victims on Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, and on Sunday. Why not the other days? Was it A, the job wouldn't allow it? B, was killing elsewhere? C, they had a victim already? Or D, Jersey Shore reruns were on TV? You were a fan of Dexter? So was I, Pippin-Dot. So was I. I think I still have like the first like 2 or 3 seasons of Dexter on DVD. I haven't watched them in forever. At least it feels that way. And that's your dog's name? Wow. Police knew the Green River Killer was out hunting for victims on Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays, and on Sunday. Why not the other day? Question number 15 of 20. The correct answer is A as in apple. Their employment job wouldn't allow it. That was one of the things that Ted Bundy tipped the FBI off to, that there were going to be days in the week when this killer, the Green River Killer, was not out hunting, and it would be because of work or other distractions in their life. Otherwise, they would be out hunting and killing on every day and every chance they could. Not a single victim of Gary Leon Ridgway, the Green River Killer, was ever abducted on a Wednesday, Thursday, or a Friday. Always on Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays, or Sundays. All right. Question number 16. If it'll click, go. Click, 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 click. There we go. What percentage of the Green River Killer victims were sexually assaulted and beaten after death? Was it A, 10%, B, 80%, C, 90%, or D, 100%? Will, have you done Wayne Williams yet? No. Well, Tamara, not by himself, but I'm going to write him down. He is one sick freaking puppy. I have done Wayne Williams on trivia nights where I've had other serial killers, combined, but not by himself. That is a great suggestion. Thank you very much. Wade? Yeah. I know who she meant, though. From Dexter's Laboratory. The Atlanta child murderer. Heather is going with D, 100%. Get the 2 and go C. E for enchilada. It's the whole enchilada. What percentage of the Green River Killer's victims were sexually assaulted and beaten after death? Question number 16 of 20. Have I ever listened to the channel Phone Calls from Jail? No, I haven't. But I did go down a rabbit hole the other day on, um, what was it? The channel's called Gavel. I think it's called Gavel. It's a live, like Zoom court TV, but actual court cases. I think I watched like 4 or 5 episodes of that, and I was trying to figure out why people want to watch, people like, and go to court for, mundane things. But apparently, like 800,000 people watched the episodes that I clicked on, and I was like, is this guy famous or something? And I can't figure it out. But I kept on then I watched another couple more episodes after that. So it might have been 4 episodes total. It's called Gavel something. Nathaniel Barr Jonas was another sick child cannibal. I think it's called Phone Calls from Prison, isn't it? All right, question number 16. The correct answer to what percentage of the serial killer victims of the Green River Killer were sexually assaulted and beaten after death? It was not 100%. It was C as in cat. 90% were sexually assaulted and beaten. All of them were sexually assaulted after they were murdered, but not all of them were beaten and sexually assaulted. It's only 90% of them were sexually assaulted and beaten. 90%. C as in cat. Did you know the movie Seven wasn't about one serial killer? Director David Fincher took inspiration from all of the following serial killers for the movie: Ed Gein, Wesley Allen Dodd, Liam Hearns, and Charles Nigg. The movie Seven wasn't about one serial killer. Director David Fincher took inspiration from all the following serial killers. Now, David Fincher is not the writer. He is just the director. All right. So don't think that, oh my gosh, well, how did Ed Gein fit into this? Or how did, Wesley Allen Dodd, how did he fit into the movie? He looked them up and studied those crimes, those serial killers, for inspiration on how to, to direct the movie and to put in some of the effects, I guess, for the movie. But the movie Seven, by far one of my favorite movies. What's in the box? All right, question number 18. On the FBI scale of top 100 serial killers, and yes, there are an entire list of most violent sexual offenders, necrophilia, that you name it. If you can be broken down into a list, the FBI lists serial killers on different categories and ranks them. The top 100 serial killers for brutality, Gary Leon Ridgway can be found where on that list? Is he number 38, 72, 10, or 4 of the top 100 for brutality? Wonder which part was inspired by Ning. Don't know. I don't think if maybe he looked at the crimes of what Charles and his cohort did and how they got rid of them. I don't know. That I found that interesting article on IMDb, but it didn't say. Though he took inspiration from this part of Wesley Allen Dodd. Or he took this one from Ed, he got inspiration for this part from Ed Gein. It didn't say. But it's on IMDb. or at least the link is, or it was on IMDb, or the link was from IMDb. It's one of the two. But if you go to either the director himself, it's one of those interviews where then they link it in the article. He's a very interesting guy. Numero uno, says Interpeas. Numero uno, number one, was a brutal rapist. Yeah. Gianna Marie is going with D. Lisa A. Heather C. The FBI scale of top 100 serial killers for brutality. Gary Leon Ridgway can be found where? Question number 18 of 20. The correct answer is B, as in boy. He is number 72 on the list for brutality. And when it comes to brutality, they're looking at how the individual killed the victim. Strangulation, did they beat them to death? Did they poison them and then beat them while they're alive? How brutal were they to the victim? But on the brutality scale, he was only a number 72 out of the top 100. I mean, very brutal after he killed them, because he definitely beat 90% of them, and then they had sex with their corpses afterwards. But all right, question number 19. What other clue did Ted Bundy give the FBI to help them catch the Green River Killer besides do not touch the body? Was it A, the type of employment the killer had? B, he would be a family man. C, he was using countermeasures. Or D, he would be soft-spoken. Question number 19 of 20. Kitty Kill, I'd rank him number 2 on deaths from the U.S. What other clue did Ted Bundy give the FBI about Gary Leon Ridgway? Kitty Kill is going to be here? Question mark? Give it up, B. Cement Shoes says he'd be wearing a prom dress. Interpeas, look for the trial of the Jolly Ranch, the trail of the trial or trail of Jolly Ranchers. Sal's going with C, Purple going with B. Question number 19 of 20. Heather's going with B. It was spray on glitter. All right. What other clue did Ted Bundy give the FBI? In his profile, again, ladies and gentlemen, that he told him what kind of individual he will be, what he's going to do with the victim, where he's going to get them, and what to do once they found a victim. And the last thing that he told them is A as in apple. What type of employment? I said earlier, I alluded to, he nailed it almost to a T on what type of employment the Green River Killer would have. Ted Bundy said that he would either be someone who is mechanical or worked with his hands in a industry where he needed to lift a lot of heavy objects. And Gary worked painting semis and lifting parts all the time. A as in apple. All right, question number 20. Gary wouldn't talk to the FBI right away about his crimes. They had to encourage him in conversation first and bring him what? Was it A Pepsi, just one Pepsi? That's all he wanted was just one Pepsi, and they wouldn't give it to him. Or was it B, a 6-pack of Diet Coke? Or C, a cheese pizza? Or D, 2 cheeseburgers from Mickey D's? Yeah, it's McDonald's in case you know what Mickey D's is. Bella Michelle, Jersey Girl. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. Gary wouldn't talk to the FBI right away about his crimes, and they had to encourage him in conversation. What did they need to bring him? Was it a Pepsi, some Coke, Diet Coke, a cheese pizza, or a cheeseburger? Oh, Kitty Q got that one. Got that reference. Just one Pepsi. That's all Mike wanted was a Pepsi. He went to their churches, their institutional learning facilities. Just leave him alone. He'll figure it out. Remember that. Okay? Mike just wants to be left alone. E, the original KFC recipe. Heather's going with A and D. Pepsi and 2 cheeseburgers from Mickey D's. Question number 20. All right. Question number 20. The correct answer is B as in boy. A 6-pack of Diet Coke. They brought him in plastic bottles to him. And then he sat down and drank the Diet Cokes while he talked about his crimes with the FBI. That was after his conviction. He sat down and talked to them about his crimes and drank Diet Coke that the FBI brought him because he could not get Diet Coke behind bars. And he wanted Diet Coke. All right, this is completely optional to give yourself a letter grade on the trivia tonight. You don't have to do it. We only play for fun and entertainment. You can A, 16 to 20 right, B, 11 to 12, E, a untouchable rock star mountain lion expert. But next up is you can help solve a cold case. A case of someone missing is coming up next. I always present two cases. But again, giving yourself a letter grade is completely optional. You don't have to. It is sad that we have gone from 22 people who are here tonight to 17, and they're leaving already before we ever get to the end of the trivia. But I understand people have things that they need to get done. They stick me in an institution and said it was the only solution to give needs of professional help to protect from the enemies and myself. Very good, Kitty Q. Suicidal tendencies for life. Remember, I'm not crazy. You're the one that's crazy. Not you, Kitty Q. That's the song. Gotta be Heather, 17. There you go. Heather remembered what kind of soda, but wasn't sure about what kind. All right. Help solve a cold case of someone missing or deceased. You may think you don't know much or didn't see much. That tiny little piece may just be the one piece that helps close a case and brings closure to a family. Wouldn't you want someone to do the same for you if you were in one of these families in this situation? Don't call in the tip next week. Do it now. The first one, the different organizations that I am working with are the following: the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Name Us, the Charlie Project, and the FBI. I am working with each and every one of them directly to help. I am not paid for this. And I saw and deleted all of the comments over the last couple of weeks that said that I was doing this because I am getting some type of monetary gain from it. I am only doing this to bring awareness to the cases of people who are missing and to help bring closure. And we should expect nothing else, or from me, that I would do this out of the greatness of my heart and what I'm here for. Obviously, even those who did leave those comments, a couple of them have been in the stream for a while, and you may know who they were. But I have now since deleted their comments. First one is Amber Lace Ackerley, missing since 4/10 of 2003 from Moorhead, Minnesota. She was last seen in Moorhead. She is 5'5", 120 to 135 pounds, dark brownish, almost black hair, and she colors it black a lot. Dyes her hair black, along with her eyebrows. Her eye color is hazel. Now, that you may be looking at this going, hey, haven't we done Amber Lace Ackerley before? And you would be 100% correct. This case has now been resolved. Since I first published the disappearance of Amber Lace Ackerley, she has reached out and contacted her mother. She is alive and well and sent photos of herself and her new baby to her mother. She informed her mother that she was afraid to tell them about the relationship she was in, who she is now married to, her husband, and the two of them decided to run away. She plans in the near future to visit her family in Moorhead, Minnesota, and take a position with the Native American Council for young runaways and missing adults. But Amber Lace Ackerley is alive and well. Now, I'm not saying at all that I am the one that made the difference in this, but I certainly the hell didn't hurt by posting, her missing poster and information about her. Maybe, just maybe, someone who has watched this program reached out to her, made her reach out to her mother, or they reached out to her and said, hey, you need to call your mom. It's about time you do so. But Amber, has now been in contact with her family, and we now know that she is alive and well. Missing, an endangered case number 2 is Eric Lee Radley, missing since February 9th of 2022, last seen in California officially. He is 5'9", 180 to 185 pounds, brown hair color, blue-greenish eyes. Birthmark, he has a mole that you can see in the photo that's in the bottom bottom left. That's next to his eye. It's not a very large mole, but it still is a birthmark that he has near his eye. Eric Lee Radley is originally from Rockland, Maine. He has been a nomad traveling in the U.S. for most of his life. Some in law enforcement have called him a drifter or a transient, which isn't true, because he does establish, a home base everywhere he goes. He just doesn't conform to the ideals of an ideal home environment. He's not living out of a tent when he does move someplace. He moves into maybe a short term stay, either a motel, hotel, short lease, with roommates in a house, but he has an actual conformity of in that aspect of a home when he does move somewhere. If he is alive and well, he may be in Colorado or Oregon or Northern California, and his family needs to speak with him. So if you know where Eric is, please have him call either 310-378-4211, which is the Palo Verdes State Police Department, or have him call his mother or uncle Rick. There is a number of those numbers haven't changed. Now, take a close look at the hat that he is wearing there in these photos. His rumor is that Eric may be working in Oregon or Eastern Washington State, but this is just a rumor, and may have been seen with a woman named Ashley. This hat that he is wearing is not the original one, but he has purchased several hats like this, and it's one of his favorite hats, and he always wears it. It may be a little dungy and gray from road travel, but it always has like the same kind of pattern on it. Again, any and all cases that I present here, if you have information, no matter how small, you can contact your local law enforcement, state patrol, or county sheriff's department. Your tip could be the crucial piece that is needed to help close a case or bring closure to a family. There is nothing preventing you from helping except yourself. Again, imagine if you were in or your loved one was missing. Wouldn't you want the world to take action and not stand by? Now, next week, the next trivia night, this is August 25th. August 25th is when I come back from vacation, when we'll have trivia night again. Was suggested by Cement Shoes, who is here in the comments section. He suggested on August 4th that we do one on killer nurses. I wanted to do just killer nurses from around the United States, but there are a couple that I wanted to cover that are international. So I made it Killer Nurses from Around the World edition. This was suggested by Killer Nurse, by Cement Shoes, again on August 4th. That is all the trivia. Again, August 25th. All the trivia for that night is already done. I've already completed it, and I just have to present it. We can play the game then on August 25th when I come back. But again, thank you again for the suggestion, Cement Shoes. That same night, in case you're wondering, Cement Shoes also suggested Whitey Bulger, Robert Durst, Ivan Millet, Juan Chavez. Well, that was actually two people. And Anthony Garcia is what I have written down here. But I try to take the suggestions from the community itself for what trivia nights they'd like to do, what they'd want to see. There wasn't a number 17 for trivia. Did we skip number 17? Oh boy, how did we do that and nobody caught that? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, here's question number 17. How many men were arrested and interrogated over the Green River killings that later were released as more fresh victims were found? I will, Mel. You want to try your luck at number 17 while it's on the screen? I don't know how I missed that. I skipped right over it. How many men were arrested and interrogated over the Green River killings, then later released as more fresh victims were found? Was it A, 9, B, 7, C, 3, or D, 6? Heather caught it. Yep. Thank you, Heather. I can't believe I missed that. I feel bad about that. I didn't even notice it. Skipped right over it. On Killer Doctors and throw in Anthony Garcia. It's a good idea. Cement shoes. How many men were arrested and interrogated for the Green River killings, and then later released after more fresh victims were found? Question number 17. Heather's our new official scorekeeper. And Heather is going with C. All right, the answer to question number 17 is C as in cat. There were 3 men. 3 men were arrested for the Green River killers, held and arrested and questioned about the Green River killings. And then they had to release them because when they found more victims, they're like, uh-oh, can't be them. One was a John who loved to beat on prostitutes. Another was connected to a known prostitute and another area where prostitutes were known to hang out. And the other guy was just I think he was a cab driver or something who was in and out of the area. But 3 were arrested and interrogated intensively over, the Green River killings. Another wrong answer, says Mel. Uh-oh. Is there a serial killer that you know more about, Mel? While we're here, I'll write down another suggestion if you have one. I was watching my phone and the computer. They already discussed Mel's favorites. I mean, if I had to do just my favorite serial killers, I mean, I think I'd probably eventually run out of answers, questions to ask on trivia night. I find, for me, it's not the brutality, of the serial killer or what they did afterwards. I mean, true. I mean, every one of them is a sick son of a, beep. But I've always been interested in the psychology behind why they do what they do. You kill once. That's hard enough. How do they make up their mind that killing once was not enough, and then do it again and again and again, until they're like the Samuel Littles of the world, and they got 90 plus murder victims. How does it become easier for them? Do they find a way to those who have PTSD or have experienced severe trauma? Are they able to compartmentalize it in an area in their head? Maybe they live normal lives and they take their children out for ice cream on the weekends, and they kill Mondays and Thursdays. I mean, but the psychology behind it all is always been what number one thing that's interested me, and that's why serial killers, who are on the the higher end of intelligence have always interested me more, like the Ed Kemper of the world. Yeah, besides annihilating his grandparents and his mother, which you kind of you can see because of the abuse, the connection there. But why the co-eds? Why did he decide to do that? Why did and when he killed the first one, why did he do it again and again and again? And I'll never have the answer to it. Even if I had Ed Kemper, well, I'd have to put him over there on that side of the table. There's no room over here. He's a big guy. Cement shoes. I don't know. I don't remember how many he was actually convicted of, but he was definitely he had a lot of rapes. Didn't Wayne use the ruse of a recording contract to lure the young women in? That he had a recording studio and they could become star singers or musicians, well, not musicians, not magic, trying to make next Pogo the Clown, but Kitty Code thinks it was two. I know, but I'm pretty sure they believe that he may have killed an awful lot more than that, though. For some reason, in my head, I think that Wayne, Williams, I think it was like 10 or 14 somewhere in there. Is what I think they or I could be wrong. I could be mixing him up with another killer altogether. After a while of doing this, and this is honest truth, they all start to blend together somewhat about their MO, and how many victims they have. This right here, this is my John Wayne Gacy file. That's just one file on John Wayne Gacy, and the murders that he did at the home. Will, did you watch Mindhunters? It was great. No, I don't think I ever have, Kitty Q. Convicted of two adult male murders, never the poor children. Young African American boys. See, so then, all right, Mel. In that case, then I'm thinking of someone completely different. Who I think he had a recording contract studio, and lured them into the recording studio, and then would attack them, either in the car or in the studio, and then he used blackmail to keep the rape victims quiet, and I guess the one I'm thinking of actually took some of the victims home afterwards. But I'm probably thinking of someone completely different, like if he killed African American little boys. So was he the Atlanta Strangler, Wayne Williams? Because the one that I'm thinking of only targeted young African American females under the age of like 21, and he dumped some of them alongside the highways. But it was with young boys. Now, like I said, after so much time of doing this, they kind of blend together. I have to actually sit down and read about them individually. I've been reading over the Gacy file. After somebody brought up a point, and I'm trying to cross reference that point. That's why I have the file out. And no, Gacy's not coming up anytime soon for trivia. I hate to break everyone's heart, but the Atlanta child murderers. But so he was from Atlanta. I am thinking of something the same thing. Oh, Sarah Boone, the Wackanut. Watching a bunch of videos on him, he's almost as good as Sarah Boone at excelling at everything in Florida. Wade got 2 known victims. Mm. I should probably look into this mine hunter though. Mine hunters, plural. I've never watched that. But then again, I don't watch television. I'm sure it's probably on YouTube or someplace online. I think Gacy and Dean Corell might have met in Florida. I rabbit holed it, and my husband said I had to stop. The Candyman, the Candyman and Gacy. Would that be funny? The two of them working side by side. Pogo the Clown and the Candyman. That'd be scary. Gacy's got connections all the way up to Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Chicago, obviously in Illinois. He used her car, which he could drive a stick to kill those two girls. Ran the one over and over. Oh boy. Uh, Pippadot and Long Johns. You're thinking of Pippi Longstockings. Little Mine Hunters is right up our alley. They only did, I think, 2 seasons, but oh my God, it needs 100. Oh, I'll definitely look into it. I mean, I have kind of a picture in my head, Heather, of what he looks like. You know, Dean Coral was also known as the Candyman. Yes, he used to give away Parleens for free if the batch didn't come out right. They used to be famous for him and his mother used to give away Parleens to everybody for free, which didn't help because it just brought up more and more victims to him eventually because everybody was so used to him. Check out Wade Wilson. I will. Write it down. Wade Wilson. Say it Yarch. Well, my last name is Yarch. So it's not Jars, it's Yarch. Okay. Sorry for mispronouncing it. I remember you saying that to me too. Been listening to his dad's interview. It's sad, but Wade's jail calls are crazy. Did they execute Wade Wilson? I mean, Wayne Williams, the Atlanta killer. Wasn't he executed? It's my demeanor, Pippadot, when I make mistakes to apologize. I'm sorry. See, it's just right there. It's not that it's not without meaning. I really do mean that. I'm sorry for mispronouncing it. If you forget anything, don't forget Mine Hunters. They'll kids around the first episode, 8 minutes. You'll be oh my god. Oh. No, he's still in prison. Okay, thank you, Mel. Wade's jail calls, everyone, he's most insane. Still in prison. Thank you. Thank you, Heather. I think I'm really am. I think I really am mixing up two different um, killers. One that used a ruse and then dumped the bodies along highways in and around the Atlanta area. Because for some reason in my mind, I have a picture of a little girl, little African American girl, who has like ribbons in her hair. It's a black and white photo for some reasons would come into mind. You know, of this killer, the serial killer that I'm thinking of, who raped, beat, and killed you know, a lot of, you know, at least all close to a dozen, I believe, and then dumped them around the Atlanta or the East Coast area. Well, like I said, I'm probably mixing up two different ones, like a little bit from this one, a little bit from that one. Not been executed. Will, on Mine Hunters, they do Ed Kemper too. It's so fascinating. Oh, all over his face. Is he the one with the, you know, the tattooed his eyeball as well? Wilson, along the river. Oh. Wade's even got 666 down the face. There's a guy on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, named Sean Gatz, who's got his face all tacked up and his arms, his eyeballs. He's building a tiny home community in Arizona. He's come across on my feed a lot. I don't know how YouTube, you know, decides that that's what, you know, I want to watch. As far as I know, Sean's never committed any crimes. He's originally from New Jersey and lives out, you know, in Arizona. Not the type of content that I'd be looking for, but you know, that's just YouTube for you. Here's a suggestion of something you've never seen before. It's like when for the longest time, whenever I would click on the live tab, you click on the top of the page, you scroll over and you find the word live, and you click on it, and it shows you different channels that are live. For the longest time, I got bingo channels, or I got people who race marbles down racetracks that they made live streaming that, or I got knitting and crochet, live stream. Nothing wrong with any of that. It's just not what I'm interested in at the moment. Wasn't there a former NFL quarterback named Wade Wilson? Played from Minnesota. Oh, that's a good question, Callie Lisa. Might have been. I'm drawing a blank on. I know of a couple different Wilsons in the NFL right now, but they're spelled the same way, Wilson, Wilson. But there might have been one, but Minnesota just got a new quarterback. They just drafted this past year, and the other one went to Atlanta. Something I should probably follow up on, but don't have the time really to sit around and figure out all these things about the NFL today. I will eventually, because I do run a fantasy football league. I'll eventually, here within the next month, have to figure it all out and figure out where people are. So many pieces move from one team to another throughout the year. But now I'm sitting here thinking about it, I think there was a Wade Wilson, the quarterback. but I'm not sure if he played for Minnesota Vikings or not. May have, probably about 20 years ago. I've never been much of a fan of the Purple People Eaters. Green Bay, Seattle Seahawks, about the only two that I follow. No eyeball tats for Wade Wilson, huh? Just a lot of tattoos on the face with 666 as well. Good to know. To each their own. He would damn scare you. Never heard of Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson, quarterback. Now a coach with the Dallas Cowboys. Former Viking, you're right. Wade Wilson died at the age of 60, sorry. But he was a coach after his NFL career. It looks like former Vikings quarterback Wade Wilson died at the age of 60. Former long-time NFL quarterback Wade Wilson passed away on Friday in Corpus, Texas, home. The Dallas Cowboys announced Wilson was 60 years old. Played 19 seasons for 5 different teams. He played for the Vikings, the Dallas Cowboys, and he played for the Cowboys and was a backup to Troy Aikman. So there's your answer to Callie Lisa. He was. There was a quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings named Wade Wilson. Sorry, I can't suggest enough that you should watch Mindhunters. They don't have a new season, but the actors said they wish they could go until today's time. Even introduced the world word serial killer. Okay, I googled Wade Wilson, quarterback. He did play for the Minnesota Vikings, but his full name is Charles Wade Wilson. Apparently, he passed away from. Well, I just went straight to the NFL network, and I put the name in on NFL.com. I put in Wade Wilson, and that's the only match that came up besides. Scroll down here. Yeah, he died. He was born in 1959, died in 2019. But there's one other Wade Wilson, but he didn't play quarterback. He was a running back, wide receiver, tight end. Played 3 different positions in the NFL in the 1970s. He's the only other one that matched with Wade Wilson. But I figured I was obviously right when it came up with one quarterback and one person who played another position. But yeah, I know Pippin. You're talking about a serial killer named Wade Wilson, and I will look him up later. I'm watching Mindhunters again on Netflix. Fantastic show. Well, I will look it up. Got my info from Wikipedia. Aha. You gotta be careful what you read on Wikipedia, Callie Lisa. There's a lot of errors on there. A lot of errors. I often read Wikipedia pages when putting together trivia nights, or other video content for my channel, and I have run across Wikipedia people have made Wikipedia changes, and to say that a serial killer is still alive when I know that they were executed. And I've seen, other ones where people have changed the total number of like murders from 10 or 15 to like 30. And it's like, really? No. So I always double check, reference like anything that's on Wikipedia with the FBI or the Department of Justice. I try to find another viable source besides that. So just be careful what you read on Wikipedia. It's a great service that everyone should support. But when people have the ability to make changes. Wade is a joker of cases. By that, I mean the face tattoos. He wore a purple shirt to court. Huh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight's trivia there again. So I'm going to read you this week's uploaded schedule for every single day that I'm going to be gone and every day that I normally don't have content. For every single day for the next 8 days, you're going to get new content. So it starts off with Monday. If you're not a channel member tomorrow, I believe at noon, you will get to see the top 5 necrophile serial killers. That is tomorrow, Monday. On Tuesday is little known serial killers. On Wednesday, if you're a channel member, you will get a video I did where I read mean comments. People like to make these comments. They think they're going to get under my skin, but believe me, after all these years, they're not. Then Thursday, there is the serial killer mistakes. Mistakes that serial killers either made that got them caught or put them on the radar for law enforcement to know who they are. But these are serious mistakes. Not like, hey, he got a parking ticket and he waited 10 days to pay it. No, these are serious mistakes that they made where someone either got away or the law enforcement knew who they were or they got caught because of this mistake. And then again, we have the same kind of video on Friday, serial killer mistakes. So it's back-to-back days, Thursday and Friday. Saturday is top 5 IQs of serial killers on Saturday. On Sunday, if you're a channel member, you will get to see what Chris Watts, how is he doing in jail on Sunday of next week. Of all of the content for the next 8 days, only one video is a short. A shorts video is 60 seconds or less. All the rest of them are full-length videos. That covers us all the way from, this coming Monday through the 18th. And there will be no content uploaded the 19th. And then I will be back after that. But again, I'm going on vacation. And I thank everyone for being here tonight for trivia night. And don't forget, on the 25th, Cement Shoes suggested killer nurses. So we're going to do trivia on killer nurses on the 25th. So if you want to read up on killer nurses, maybe familiarize yourself with some of the names of the different serial killers, nurses out there. I mean, I'm not going back into the 1800s or anything before 1900. These are from, the more modern era, I guess, if you want to say, for killer nurses. I'm not going back to like, Ma Bell or, Guinness, or anybody else who was a serial killer back then who may have been like a wet nurse. So that's not going to be on the trivia. All right, everyone, thank you again for being here tonight for trivia. If you haven't had a chance to hit the thumbs up and you enjoy the content, please do so. If you're not a subscriber, I really hope that you'll consider becoming a subscriber. Again, this month is different from any other month, because I have so much content that I'm putting out this month, particularly this coming week. I never have a week where I put out content every single day. It may not be that way in September or any other month after that, but this week there is. So again, everyone, bye. You stay safe out there. And as Purple says, you never know who's going to be standing next to you. And you never know. Is she here? Is the Purple still here? who will be standing next to you, who's going to be at your door next. So remember that. Thumbs up.